Hello everyone, welcome to Jacqs. I am Jackie and thank you for joining me today. So as we came upon October, I've been making some Halloween crafts here and there, but I actually wanted to do something for myself this year. I had collected quite a bit of Halloween craft supplies, and I just wanted something that I could do with them for me. So the first thing I did was create a Halloween movie list, and I have created a list of all the Halloween movies that I like to watch. I'm not really a horror or scary movie kind of watcher, but I created the ones that are good for me, a lot of the kid ones. So the next thing I thought about doing was I kept hearing everybody talk about October Daily. And then I saw that you could do writing prompts for that. There were drawing prompts that you could use and even photo challenges. But that's just not something that I really wanted to do. I already journal, and I felt it was conflicting with that, and I didn't want to have a separate October daily when I already have a October month in my journal that I'm using this year. So then I came across Pink Oddbird, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with her. She is fabulous, but she has started her own October daily prompts, and so that is what I decided to do. So the first thing you do is create a journal. And then she provides you with prompts each week, and you use those prompts and you create a Halloween spread that goes along with the prompts. Now you can use them as they are written, you can modify them, you can change the order of them, you can really adapt them to what's right for you. And I think that's what I liked about it. Then she asked that you share it and use hashtag POB Daily 19. And that's if you want to share. You can also do videos and, of course, Instagram. So these are the prompts for the first week, and she hands them out every week. And there are 7, one for each day. I'm not going to read through each one of them because I'm going to be showing you what I actually did, but I did want to at least put them up here so that you could see what they are and how she has adapted them to a crafty capacity, if that makes sense. So as I was going through and listening to her and all the tips that she gave, what I decided to do to adapt it to me was to use her prompts, but align them with the movie list that I created. And so that's how I'm going to create my spreads or create my response to the prompt question. So what I'll do now is switch over the camera and show you my results. Okay, so here is the beginnings of what I have created for my October daily. The first thing that I didn't do was create a journal, and that was because it was already October. I didn't want to waste the time in creating a journal and then starting October daily because I thought I would be extremely behind. So what I ended up doing, and this is just an example, I took some decorative pattern paper and I folded it over, created the design that I wanted on that page and on the inside, and then I would take another pattern paper, glue these together, and then end up creating like a book. So it would be something like this. You'll see that in a moment, but I did want to let you know that that's how I did it. And that's just kind of making a journal on the fly, if you will. So this is what it came out to. I was going to have it be an odd size, which I love that as well. So across, it is 6 inches across, and I was going to do it 6 by 10.5 inches. So this first page is 10.5. Well, then I got carried away with my spreads and I kind of forgot I was cutting it down, so then it ended up being 6 by 12. So my whole journal will be 6 by 12, and I'm actually kind of excited about having that odd size for Halloween, so I am enjoying that. What I also decided to do was create like a little booklet for each week. So this is all of week 1, and then I'll create another one doing the same type of method by pattern paper glued onto pattern paper like that, and continue to create my prompts for each week as one little booklet. And then at the end, I'm going to use acetate as a cover and put them all together. And I think when I do that, I'll actually come back and do that video so you guys can see it. Okay, so that's how this size and everything came to be. On the front, which I think this is going to be the cover. I don't think I'm going to put anything else on my acetate cover when I do it. Maybe on the bottoms and top, but not right here. I actually love this design. So I've hoarded these papers for quite some time. This is from Bo Bunny's Wonderfully Wicked. I had this single 12 by 12 page and I have just hoarded it. So I finally got to use it. I cut this in half and then fussy cut out the candle here and added it, and then use some gemstones or rhinestones for the fire. And then down below I added this sentiment, "Don't go chasing shadows." It's actually from the Woman in Black movie. And at the top I had this frame in my stash for a very long time. I kind of grunged it up a little bit with black ink. And then I'm printing a lot of stuff for my computer and putting it in here, and I'm really loving doing that, as well as using my typewriter. Here I actually printed this out on paper that matched this, and then ended up making it as a shaker. But it says back there, hashtag POB Daily 19. So I think this will make a great cover. I added some Recollections lace here on the side, and that was already adhesive lace. So when we go in, the first prompt asks you, which Halloween critter are you most afraid of in real life? And so when I read some of these prompts, ideas just kind of came to mind. It was really exciting to actually take it from your thought process down into actual creativity. So my first thought that came in when I heard, which critter are you most afraid of? I thought of Ron from Harry Potter, and he was saying how he hates spiders. So I created this scene because this is so big. Let me see if I can change my camera. Okay, I think this will work a little bit better. So I created this scene. I used these little flags here with the spider hanging down that, again, was from a piece of 12 by 12 that I'd been hoarding. I found this image on Google. It says, "Harry, spiders, can we panic now?" And then there's a picture of Harry. And I don't know, that just cracks me up. So then what I did was I used one of the Target stickers that we got last year for Halloween for the spider. I added some American Craft Halloween spider webs here. And then I had some sequin spiders, and they're the red ones that you get from the Dollar Tree. I tried to put alcohol ink on them, but they don't absorb the ink. And then I actually just painted them with black acrylic paint. So it kind of worked out pretty cool because you can still slightly see the red in the spiders. Not sure it's so close. Let's see. There we go. Sorry about that. So in some of them you can kind of see the red and the black, so that's kind of neat. But that's how I did those because I didn't want them to be bright red. And then over here I actually said, yes, they make me jump or make a slight eek. And then I did what I'm calling a story alert. And then I talk about a time where my son had a spider in his room, and I wrote about that. So this is how I did the first prompt. The next prompt was make a recipe for monster stew. Well, the first thing that came to mind, and I don't know why, was the line in Harry Potter that says, "Eye of rabbit, harpstring hung, turn your water into rum." I don't know why that came to mind, but it did. So I found some great Halloween bookcase paper here that I used, and I had this brick paper here to create like, you know, the witch's lair. And so I had this little bottle I cut out, and I actually had printed on it, "Eye of Rabbit, harpstring hung, turn this water into rum." So that was the first thing that I've thought of, and so I put that there. This is tulle from the Dollar Tree. I added and glued it on here and here. Then I kind of gathered it all up, used a fashion bulb pin, and kind of went through all of the material to pull it together. And then I took the fabric, flipped it under, and laid this down, and then I glued this end here and this down here. So it actually created a pocket here. And I created a tag and used my typewriter on this, and it says, all I could think of was "Eye of Rabbit" when I read the Monster Stew prompt, and then I say it's from Harry Potter. So I just tuck that in there. And then on this side, if you've watched my videos, you saw me do a project share and tutorial for this shaker here. And I thought this was perfect to go in this journal with her cauldron here and her spell book. And she is creating something like Monster Stew. And then what I did back here was I found the life potion from Hocus Pocus. I typed this up on my typewriter, or no, actually my computer, and printed it out with some like vintage background. Added this little bottle, and then I added a rhinestone, like a teardrop, make it look like you're, you know, just putting a little drop of the potion out there. And so I thought all of that kind of went with the whole prompt of making a monster stew. So that was the second prompt. After that, I kind of switched the prompts around, and the one I did next was the "Use your supplies in your stash to make candy corn, and do you like candy corn?" So this part of the page here responds to that. And what I did was, when they talk about candy and I thought about my movies, I actually thought about these three crazy kids from The Nightmare Before Christmas. And so I took some colored glittered ribbon that I had just got from the Dollar Tree, and I created her dress into the candy corn colors. We have orange, gold for the yellow, and then white. And then I have some candy corns, like she's holding them and dropping them here on the side. And you know, they're just hanging out, having fun. And this trick or treat sign has a candy corn there for the "or." So I thought that was fun to answer that prompt. This keeps sneaking out. And then on the next one was to draw and decorate a simple jack-o'-lantern and give him or her a simple story. And that's this part of the spread. So what I did here, I used some of the die cuts from the paper pad I got from Joann's. That was nothing but die cuts. So cool. I took this pumpkin, traced it out, made these lines on it, and then cut it out. And then I don't know why, I think it needed an eyeball, so I gave it one. So on the back of the pumpkin, I wrote out some of the lines from Linus from The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, The Great Pumpkin, and have those segments there. So that's kind of like my pumpkin story. So I created this pumpkin. That's the pumpkin story. And then I did another story alert, and then I typed out a time that I took my son to a pumpkin patch. So that's there, and that slips in here. So what I did then was kind of create like a pumpkin patch, and then I put Linus here in the back with "Welcome, Great Pumpkin." I thought that was kind of cool. I loved how it came out. It just all kind of like fell into place. You know, it's funny when you start creating, you have one thought, but then it just kind of flourishes and grows. So on this pumpkin, I actually cut this one out freehand. I wanted it to mirror the candy corn page. So what I did was added little candy corns for the eyes and nose. And then to mirror the eye on this pumpkin, I used it's actually a glow-in-the-dark eyeball here. And so it actually turned out pretty good. And I used one of those dies from the die cut paper pad from Joann's. On the back of this one, I wrote out my thoughts on candy corn. It was my favorite when I was a kid, and then I just talk a little bit about that to answer the candy corn prompt. So doing that with this pumpkin actually ties everything in on this one page. Now, if you notice, I'm not actually numbering the prompts because I just decided not to do that. I wanted to make it a more free-flowing type of creative journal, I guess. So the next one was write your own short Halloween poem. So as I was searching for a poem for this that related to the movies that I was watching, I actually found out that Tim Burton wrote a poem called The Nightmare Before Christmas, and that was the basis of the movie. So this is the poem that he wrote, which actually outlines the movie. So it's really quite cool, but it's in poem format. So I created this whole scene on my computer. I had purchased these images from Etsy. I can link that down below. So that's what this is. This is the poem. And then what are your favorite snacks to eat when you watch movies? That was another prompt. And so what I did was I had this image in my digital stash. I printed this out, and then I wrote on the back popcorn, of course, but you know, I can't eat popcorn now, so nachos will do. And what I did was just punch a little hole, tie a little string here, and use some of my Jacqs washi tape there to tie it in. I actually had a different idea, but I'm watching Halloween movies while I do this, so I kind of got carried away with what I was doing and forgot to do some of the things, but it all works out. So I just hang that here. It kind of still goes with the whole movie theme, poem theme. I like that there. So for the prompt that I skipped, it was the black, green, orange, or purple. Which traditional Halloween color is your favorite? Mine is black, of course. And I had just watched The Woman in Black, and so I decided to do a play off of that movie. I had some black letters that I put woman in, and then down here I put black, which I like having it separate because it kind of answers the prompt. I used Tim Holtz paper stash from last Halloween, and it has that, it's like a velvety, or I forget what you guys call it now. I can't remember. So it feels kind of velvety to me, this wallpaper, love it. And then I did some of that plaid down below. This lady here is from Victoria Designs. And so in the movie, the lady in black has a veil over her. And so I used this lace to cover her up. And then in the movie, if you've watched it, she actually has birthday cards for her son. She has them all created for future years. So first birthday, second birthday, third, and fourth. So what I did for these, when I did this, like this, I loved, right? And then when I did this, it kind of just creeped me out. But I still love it, but it's still kind of creepy. If you see the movie, you'll know what I mean. So in each envelope, what I did was I used a Velcro dot so that it could be on there and that I could still use it, because I took the prompts and I actually wrote out how I was going to sketch everything out on there. So in the first birthday envelope, what I did was I actually wrote out just a little bit about doing the daily prompts and Pink Odd Bird on here, using her prompts, just so that later on, when someone's viewing this or I'm viewing it, they'll know why I decided to do it. So that's in the first birthday. In the second one, it starts with the prompts. So when you open this up, it says, you know, which Halloween critter are you most afraid of? I have A, spiders, of course, and B, related to Harry Potter and Ron's hatred of spiders. So I kind of did that. Like, here's the next one, make a recipe for monster stew. Could only think of one spell. That was the rum spell. And then it says Harry Potter, of course, and so I threw in Hocus Pocus life potion. So I kind of just typed out my thought process. And so I did that for all of the prompts. Again, I actually had a different idea of how to incorporate that, but I was watching Woman in Black and totally got sidetracked with that idea. So, so this is how it all came out, and I am really excited about it. I love the size of this journal, and I hope you enjoy this as well, and maybe you'll join us in this POB daily prompt for 2019. So I'll be back to show you next week's as well. See you then.